Welcome back to Medic-AI Euphony Ebony, the podcast about physical and mental health,
Yes,
focusing on actionable insights and the latest advancements, AI-related and otherwise, for a calm and healthy life.
right.
It's World Cancer Day,
Yeah, it is.
so we're doing a deep dive into some evergreen and cutting-edge information about cancer.
Definitely.
I've got research on awareness campaigns, insights into how cancer works, and even the latest AI advancements in diagnosis, treatment, and prevention.
Wow.
And get this, AI can now help spot breast cancer at stage 1A
Really?
using a blood test way before traditional methods can even detect it.
That's incredible.
It is pretty amazing.
It's quite remarkable. We'll get into the details.
Okay.
But first, let's talk about what World Cancer Day is all about.
Okay.
It's February 4th, and the theme is United by Unique, highlighting the importance of personalized cancer care.
So it's not just about awareness. Right. World Cancer Day also encourages action.
Absolutely. The 2025 campaign aims to promote personalized care, raise awareness, and encourage action, especially in low and middle income countries where access to treatment can be limited.
Some of their slogans really stood out to me. Every story matters. Every life counts. It's a powerful message that emphasizes the human impact of cancer.
It is. And from awareness to action, let's make a difference. It's a call to action reminding us that we all have a role to play.
So we've got the why of World Cancer Day. But what exactly is cancer? I know it involves cells growing out of control, but could you break it down for us?
Of course, cancer occurs when cells in our body begin to grow uncontrollably, often due to damage in their DNA called genetic mutations. And a glitch in the system that disrupts the normal cell cycle.
And these mutations don't happen overnight, right?
Right. Cancer development, what we call carcinogenesis, is usually a multi-step process where genetic changes accumulate over time. Think of it like a domino effect, where one mutation leads to another, eventually resulting in malignancy. Colorectal cancer is a good example. It often starts with a mutation in a gene called APC, which helps regulate cell growth. Then perhaps another mutation occurs in the KRAS gene, further disrupting cell signaling. Finally, damage to the P53 gene.
Okay.
A crucial tumor suppressor gene can allow uncontrolled cell growth to spiral out of control.
Okay. So multiple things have to go wrong at a cellular level for cancer to develop.
Yeah.
It makes you realize how complex this disease really is. But understanding this process is key to early detection and prevention.
Precisely. Early detection is critical. And that brings us to the warning signs.
Okay.
While it's important not to live in fear, being aware of potential symptoms can make a huge difference.
Absolutely. What are some of the red flags people should look out for?
There are some general warning signs that can be associated with a variety of cancers. Unexplained weight loss, for example, especially if it's significant and occurs without any changes in diet or exercise, is definitely a cause for concern. Persistent fatigue that doesn't go away with rest is another red flag. It's that feeling of exhaustion that lingers even after a good night's sleep.
So it's different from just being tired after a long day. It's more like a persistent lack of energy.
Exactly. And then there's unusual bleeding or discharge.
Okay.
This could be blood in your stool, urine, or even unusual vaginal bleeding. These are signs that shouldn't be ignored and warrant a visit to your doctor.
Okay, so those are some general signs?
Right.
But I know there are also cancer-specific symptoms, right?
Yes. For instance, a lump in the breast or underarm is a classic sign of breast cancer.
Yeah.
And any changes in breast size, shape, or nipple discharge should be checked out immediately. With skin cancer, especially melanoma, pay attention to any changes in your moles, like asymmetry, irregular borders, or changes in color. These are all potential warning signs.
It sounds like the key takeaway here is to pay attention to your body and any persistent changes that seem out of the ordinary.
Right.
If something feels off, it's always better to err on the side of caution and get it checked out by a doctor.
Absolutely. And that's where AI is starting to play a crucial role.
Okay.
These advancements are revolutionizing how we approach cancer diagnosis and treatment.
Okay, so tell us about some of the AI advancements you came across while preparing for this episode.
Sure.
What really stood out to you?
One of the most fascinating developments is a model called Sheath. It can analyze tissue slides and diagnose 19 different types of cancer
Wow.
with nearly 94% accuracy. Imagine the possibilities. This could lead to faster diagnoses, allowing for quicker treatment intervention.
19 different types. That's amazing. And it's all done by analyzing tissue samples. So how does it work?
Sheath utilizes deep learning algorithms to analyze patterns in the tissue samples that may be too subtle for the human eye to detect. It essentially learns to distinguish between cancerous and non-cancerous cells based on these subtle visual cues. This level of accuracy is really changing the game.
And it's not just about analyzing tissue samples, right?
Mhm.
Earlier, you mentioned an AI-powered blood test that can detect breast cancer at a very early stage.
Yes, it's incredible. Imagine a simple blood test that can detect breast cancer at stage 1A,
Wow.
long before traditional methods like mammograms can even pick it up. This could be revolutionary for early detection and treatment.
That's incredible. Detecting cancer so early could significantly improve survival rates.
It could.
How does this blood test work?
Researchers have discovered specific biomarkers in the blood that are associated with early stage breast cancer. This AI powered test is trained to identify these biomarkers, enabling early detection with remarkable accuracy. This is just one example of how AI is transforming cancer screening.
It's like having a microscopic detective searching for clues in your blood.
Right.
AI is really becoming a powerful ally in the fight against cancer.
It is.
What other AI applications are out there?
Well, Google has developed an AI assisted mammography system that helps radiologists interpret mammograms more accurately. It's like having a second pair of expert eyes, which can be especially helpful in spotting those tiny early stage cancers that might be missed by the human eye alone.
So AI is augmenting the skills of doctors, helping them see what they might otherwise miss.
Yes,
It's not about replacing doctors, but rather empowering them with more sophisticated tools.
precisely. AI is a powerful tool that can enhance human expertise, leading to better outcomes for patients. And its potential extends beyond diagnosis. AI is also playing a significant role in predicting treatment outcomes.
Wait, really? So AI can actually predict how well specific treatments will work for individual patients?
Yes, this is the future of personalized medicine.
Wow.
For example, UCLA Health has developed an AI model that analyzes epigenetic factors, which influence gene expression to predict survival outcomes.
So they can look at your unique genetic makeup and determine which treatment is most likely to be successful for you.
That's the idea. And then there's the LORIS tool developed by the NIH. This tool uses readily available clinical data to predict who is likely to respond to immunotherapy.
Immunotherapy. Isn't that where they train your own immune system to fight the cancer?
That's right. It's a very promising treatment, but not everyone responds to it. The LORIS tool could potentially identify patients who are unlikely to benefit, potentially sparing them from going through a treatment that might not be effective for them.
That's incredible. So AI is helping to make treatments more targeted and effective, while also minimizing unnecessary treatments. It sounds like AI is supporting patients every step of the way, from diagnosis to treatment planning. But what happens after treatment?
Yeah,
What about the recovery process?
rehabilitation after cancer treatment is crucial, and AI is making a significant impact in that area as well. AI powered tools can help personalize rehabilitation plans, optimize physical therapy, and even manage pain and fatigue.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
So AI is not just about fighting the cancer itself,
no,
but also about supporting patients throughout their entire cancer journey.
it's about providing comprehensive care that addresses both the physical and emotional needs of patients. AI is transforming cancer care in ways we never thought possible.
This is truly groundbreaking stuff. We've talked about how AI is revolutionizing diagnosis, treatment, and even rehabilitation after cancer,
Yes,
but we haven't even touched on prevention yet.
right. And that's where things get even more interesting. AI is being used to analyze massive data sets to identify patterns that might indicate an increased risk of developing cancer in the first place.
Wow, so AI is like a detective,
Yes,
searching for those early warning signs that could help prevent cancer from developing.
exactly. And there are even efforts to integrate AI with traditional medical practices to create a more holistic approach to cancer prevention. Imagine combining the wisdom of ancient practices with the power of modern technology. It's an exciting prospect.
It sounds like AI is playing a multifaceted role in the fight against cancer. But we know that even with all these advancements, there's still a lot we don't know about cancer.
Absolutely. Cancer is a complex disease, and there are still many questions to be answered.
It is clear that AI is becoming an indispensable tool in the fight against cancer,
It is.
empowering doctors and patients alike. And we've only just scratched the surface.
Yeah,
There's so much more to explore,
yeah.
so much more to discover.
So much. We talked about the importance of early detection, but sometimes cancer symptoms can be quite subtle, easy to dismiss or mistake for something else. So let's talk about those warning signs in more detail.
Yes, let's unpack that. We touched on general symptoms like unexplained weight loss and fatigue. But what about those signs that are more specific to certain types of cancer?
Let's start with breast cancer, one of the most common cancers affecting women. While a lump in the breast or underarm is a significant warning sign, there are other subtle changes to be aware of.
Like what? What else should women be looking for?
Changes in breast size or shape are crucial. Sometimes one breast might become larger or smaller than the other. Any nipple discharge, especially if it's bloody or clear, is another red flag. And any persistent breast pain that doesn't seem to have a clear cause warrants attention.
So any unusual changes in the breast area should prompt a visit to the doctor.
Absolutely. Early detection is key. Now let's talk about lung cancer. We mentioned a persistent cough as a major warning sign, but there's more to it than that.
What else should people be aware of, especially smokers who are at higher risk?
Shortness of breath is a crucial one, especially if it's new or worsening. Wheezing, chest pain, and coughing up blood are all serious symptoms that require immediate medical attention.
Those sound pretty alarming. I can see why those symptoms would warrant immediate attention.
Absolutely. Now let's move on to colorectal cancer. This type of cancer can present with a variety of symptoms, often related to changes in bowel habits.
Changes in bowel habits, what kind of changes are we talking about?
Things like diarrhea, constipation, or a feeling that you haven't completely emptied your bowels. These changes can be persistent or intermittent.
Right, and those kinds of digestive issues can be caused by so many different things. How do you know when it's something more serious?
That's the tricky part. But if you notice a persistent change in your bowel habits, especially if it's accompanied by other symptoms like blood in the stool, abdominal pain, or unexplained weight loss, it's essential to see your doctor.
Blood in the stool sounds pretty scary. Is that a common symptom of colorectal cancer?
It can be. The blood can be bright red or dark, and you might notice it on the toilet paper or in the toilet bowl. And then there's abdominal pain or cramping, which could be a sign of a tumor pressing on the intestines.
Okay, so changes in bowel habits, blood in the stool, abdominal pain. Those are all red flags for colorectal cancer. It seems like paying attention to your body and noticing any persistent changes is crucial for early detection.
Exactly. And remember, early detection is often the key to successful treatment.
We've covered breast cancer, lung cancer, and colorectal cancer. What about other types of cancer?
Skin cancer is another important one, and we talked about melanoma earlier. But remember, any unusual changes in your skin should be checked out by a dermatologist, whether it's a mole or not. It could be a sore that doesn't heal, a new growth, or even a change in the texture of your skin.
So anything unusual on your skin should be looked at by a professional.
Yes, it's always better to err on the side of caution. Another type of cancer we should mention is cervical cancer, which affects the cervix, the lower part of the uterus. The most common symptom is abnormal vaginal bleeding.
What do you mean by abnormal bleeding? Could you elaborate on that?
It could be bleeding between periods, bleeding after sex, or even bleeding after menopause. Essentially, any bleeding that's unexpected or unusual for you.
Right, because after menopause, bleeding should stop altogether. So any bleeding after menopause is a definite cause for concern.
Exactly. If you experience any bleeding after menopause, it's crucial to see your doctor immediately.
It seems like we've covered a lot of ground when it comes to cancer-specific warning signs. But I imagine there are other symptoms that people should be aware of.
Yes, there are many other potential symptoms depending on the type and location of the cancer.
So what's the most important takeaway for our listeners when it comes to early detection?
The most important takeaway is this. If you experience any persistent changes in your body that seem out of the ordinary, don't ignore them. Talk to your doctor. Early detection can make a world of difference in cancer treatment.
That's such an important message. It's always better to be safe than sorry. So we've talked about warning signs and the importance of early detection. But even with all the advancements in medical technology, including AI, there are still challenges in cancer diagnosis, right?
Of course, even with the most sophisticated AI systems, challenges remain. One of the biggest hurdles is ensuring that these AI systems are trained on diverse data sets that represent the entire population.
Diverse data sets. Why is that so important?
Imagine an AI system that's only trained on images of skin cancer in fair-skinned people. If you have darker skin, the system might not be as accurate in detecting skin cancer in you.
That makes sense. So it's not just about the technology itself, but also about the data that's used to train it. The data needs to be representative of the population it's intended to serve.
Precisely. And researchers are actively working to create more diverse data sets that include people of all races, ethnicities, and socioeconomic backgrounds.
It sounds like a really important area of focus for the future of AI in healthcare. What other challenges are there?
Another significant challenge is access to care. Even with advanced technology, not everyone has equal access to it.
Right. We talked about that earlier in the context of World Cancer Day And the disparities in cancer care in low and middle income countries.
Exactly. And even within developed countries, there can be disparities based on income insurance coverage and geographic location. It's not enough to simply develop new technologies. We need to ensure that everyone has access to them.
So we have challenges related to data diversity and access to care. What other exciting advancements or research should our listeners know about?
There's a lot of fascinating research happening in the field of cancer immunotherapy. As we discussed earlier, this involves harnessing the power of the immune system to fight cancer.
Right, we talked about how immunotherapy can be effective for some people, but not everyone responds to it. What's new in that area?
Researchers are working on personalized cancer vaccines, which are tailored to the specific mutations in an individual's tumor. It's like creating a custom made weapon to target those unique cancer cells.
That sounds incredible. It takes personalized medicine to a whole new level. Are these personalized vaccines showing promise?
Early trials have been encouraging, but more research is needed.
What other immunotherapy breakthroughs are on the horizon?
Researchers are also exploring ways to combine immunotherapy with other treatments like chemotherapy or radiation therapy to create a multi-pronged attack on the cancer.
So it's about finding the right combination of treatments that will be most effective for each individual patient.
Exactly. It's about tailoring treatments to each person's unique needs and characteristics. This personalized approach is the future of cancer care.
It's amazing to think about how far we've come in cancer treatment and research. But even with all these advancements, cancer remains a complex and challenging disease.
That's true. There's still so much we don't know, and there's always more work to be done.
But we're definitely moving in the right direction. And with continued research and collaboration, we can create a future where cancer is no longer a threat. We've covered so much ground in this deep dive into cancer, from the science to the groundbreaking role of AI. But we haven't yet touched on something incredibly important: the emotional and psychological impact of cancer.
That's a crucial aspect of the cancer journey, and it's often overlooked. A cancer diagnosis can be a life-altering event, bringing with it a whirlwind of emotions.
I can only imagine it's not just about the physical challenges of treatment, but also the emotional toll it takes on individuals and their families.
Absolutely. It's a roller coaster of emotions, with fear being a very natural response. Fear of the unknown, fear of pain, fear of death. Anxiety is common as well. Anxiety about treatment, about the future, about the impact on loved ones.
And there's the grief, right? Grief for the life they had before the diagnosis, grief for the things they might miss out on.
Exactly. And it's important to remember that it's not just the patient who experiences these emotions. Family members and caregivers go through their own emotional journeys as well.
Of course, they're watching someone they love face this incredibly difficult challenge, and they often feel helpless.
It's a shared experience, and caregivers often put their own needs aside, which can lead to burnout and compassion fatigue. It's crucial for caregivers to acknowledge their own emotional needs and seek support as well.
It sounds like there's a lot to process, both for the patient and those closest to them. What are some ways people can cope with these emotional challenges? Where do they even begin?
First and foremost, it's essential to acknowledge those feelings. Allow yourself to experience them fully. Don't try to suppress them or pretend they're not there.
Right, those emotions are valid. It's okay to not be okay. Bottling things up can actually make it worse.
Exactly. Talking about those feelings can be incredibly helpful. Whether it's with a therapist, a support group, or close friends and family, sharing your experience can lighten the burden.
Support groups can be a great resource, right? They offer a space for people to connect with others who truly understand what they're going through.
Absolutely. Support groups can be invaluable. They provide a safe and understanding environment to share your fears, your hopes, your triumphs, your setbacks. You realize you're not alone in this journey, and that can be incredibly empowering.
And what about professional help? Is therapy something that people with cancer should consider?
Therapy can be incredibly beneficial. A therapist can help you develop coping mechanisms, process your emotions, and navigate the challenges of cancer treatment and recovery. They can provide guidance and support as you navigate this new terrain.
It's not just about coping with the negative emotions, right?
Yeah.
It's also about finding joy and purpose in life, even amidst the challenges of cancer.
You're absolutely right. Focusing on the things that bring you joy, whether it's spending time with loved ones, pursuing hobbies, or connecting with nature, can help nourish your spirit and foster a sense of resilience.
And there's also the power of mindfulness,
Yeah.
right? Being present in the moment, appreciating the small things.
Mindfulness can be incredibly powerful. It helps quiet the mind, reduce stress, and cultivate a sense of gratitude. Even in the midst of difficult circumstances, there's always something to appreciate, something to be grateful for.
So we've got therapy support groups, finding joy, mindfulness. These are all valuable tools for navigating the emotional ups and downs of cancer. What about self-care? How important is that?
This time. Self-care is absolutely essential. No, it's not selfish to prioritize your own well-being, especially during a challenging time like this. In fact, it's crucial for both your physical and emotional health.
What does self-care look like for someone with cancer? What are some specific things they can do?
It's different for everyone, but it might include things like getting enough sleep, eating nourishing foods, engaging in gentle exercise, spending time in nature, or listening to music. It's about finding those activities that replenish you and bring you a sense of peace and well-being.
It's about taking those moments to recharge and nurture yourself.
Precisely. And it's also about asking for help when you need it. Don't be afraid to reach out to loved ones and let them know what you need, whether it's practical support, emotional support, or simply a listening ear.
Right. People often want to help but might not know how. So being specific about your needs can make it easier for them to provide the support you need.
Exactly. And remember, you are not alone in this journey. There are resources available to help you navigate the emotional and practical challenges of cancer. And there are people who care about you and want to support you every step of the way.
That's so reassuring to hear. Speaking of support, what about navigating the healthcare system itself? It can be overwhelming, even under normal circumstances. What are some tips for advocating for yourself in the healthcare system, especially when facing a serious illness like cancer?
That's an incredibly important topic. First and foremost, finding a doctor you trust and feel comfortable communicating with is essential.
Right. You need someone who listens to your concerns and explains things clearly, someone you feel confident partnering with on your healthcare journey.
Exactly. And don't hesitate to ask questions, even if they seem basic or trivial. Write them down beforehand so you don't forget anything during the appointment.
What kind of questions should people be asking? Are there any must-ask questions that you recommend?
It depends on your individual situation, but some general questions to consider include: what are my treatment options? What are the risks and benefits of each option? What can I expect during treatment? What are the potential long-term side effects?
Those are all important questions to ask. And what about second opinions? Is it okay to seek another doctor's opinion?
Absolutely. It's your health, and you have the right to seek as many opinions as you need to feel comfortable and confident with your treatment plan. Don't hesitate to get a second, third, or even fourth opinion if it helps you make the best decision for you.
It's empowering to know that you have options and that you can seek out different perspectives. What other advice do you have for advocating for yourself in the healthcare system?
Bring a loved one to appointments to help you take notes and remember information. It's a lot to process, and having an extra set of ears and a note taker can be incredibly helpful. Keep a journal to track your symptoms and treatment progress. And don't be afraid to speak up if you're not feeling heard or if you have concerns about your care.
It's your body, and you deserve to be an active participant in your healthcare decisions.
Exactly. And remember, there are resources available to help you navigate the system. Many hospitals have patient advocates who can assist with things like insurance issues, financial assistance, and finding support services. Don't hesitate to reach out and ask for help.
That's good to know. There's support available if you know where to look. We've talked about emotional support, self-care, and advocating for yourself. What else is essential for people with cancer and their loved ones to keep in mind as they navigate this journey?
It's important to remember that cancer is a journey and it's going to have its ups and downs. There will be good days and bad days. It's not always a linear path to recovery. Right.
It's a process with twists and turns along the way.
Exactly. And it's okay to grieve the life you had before cancer. It's okay to be angry, to be sad, to be scared. Allow yourself to feel those emotions without judgment.
But it's also important to hold on to hope, right? Hope for healing, hope for a brighter future.
Absolutely. And that hope can come from many sources, from your loved ones, from your faith, from your own inner strength, and from the incredible advancements being made in cancer treatment and research. Every day, we're getting closer to a future where cancer is no longer a threat.
That's a powerful message of hope to end on. And that brings us to the end of our deep dive into cancer. We've covered a lot of ground exploring the science, the emotional impact, and practical advice for navigating this challenging journey. This has been Medicae Euphonia, Ebony, your go-to podcast for staying informed about health with actionable insights for a calm and healthy life. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, take good care of yourself.